countries want to attract the best nomads, right? Because nomads have a huge economic impact in a lot of their countries, right? So Bulgaria just announced their digital nomad visa, and so you have more countries trying to entice nomads to come stay or travel through their area, because if I say something positive about my experience, what's going to happen, right? Then my channels or social media channels, I'm going to tell other people, like, hey, come stay over here, this is the process, right? A lot of these countries have a very simplified system to where you may talk to one person who does your nomad process, right? I was like, hey, go talk to John, he can help you out, he can get you set up with an appointment right away, right? It's very different, yeah. So they're trying to attract more of those kinds of things because there's a lot of talent that they're looking for. The Nordic countries last year, they put on this big contest that said, hey, if you apply and you do this, we will pay for your housing, we will pay for a co-working membership, we will pay for all these things to come to bring over there. And the reason why is because a lot of the Nordic cities have very low populations, right? So they want to bring more people to those regions. Do you like cold regions? If you do, that's where you should go. Okay. And so there's a rise in reality check of digital nomad dreams, right? So a lot of people see this lifestyle, they're just like, man, it's so cool. He's going to Dubai, he's going to London, he's doing this, he's going to great parties, all this stuff. And you realize, like, your life is very minimalist, right? Like, there's not a lot of stuff you can carry with you, right? If you're going off to these places and you're like, I gotta buy this and I need to have this, where are you gonna put it? Like, where exactly are you gonna put all this stuff, right? And for some people, it's just like, it's not, you're always partying at the beach. You're probably having to work, you're probably having to check emails, you probably have Zoom meetings to go to. It's a lot of that kind of stuff, right? So it's balancing between the two, because you may be working so much because you're trying to just pay the bills, right? So there's all kinds of things that people are doing. One of the most popular thing I see young people do to make a business is what? What's the first type of business you think nomads start? When they land in Bali for the first time, they have no idea what they're doing, and they're going to say, I'm going to start a website building business. That's the first thing they run to. You know how I know? Because I meet so many people who do that, right? In fact, there was 5 guys that were supposed to be here tonight that told me they were going to be here, who are running a website building business. Why? Because their idea was, everybody needs a website. I said, yes, I know that. So why don't people get websites? And they're like, I don't know. That's what we're here to figure out. I'm like, to be young, man, you know. So, living in Bali as a digital nomad, right? So all these are titles to the articles. If you want to take a picture and look them up. This is a person who, hey, this is what my life was like in Bali. So before I go into this, what can you tell me from what you think or heard of seen in Bali is so glamorous about that place? Yes?
Beautiful women, the beautiful beaches.
Yep.
And just the cost of living. Mm-hmm. Those are probably the 3 highlights, I would say.
Right. And that's what most young people think, and I get this all the time. I have $1,000, should I move to Bali? I can't tell you how many times people tell me that, right? So then they're just like, but the pictures, the videos, I've seen all this, it's so beautiful, the sunsets, you know, the nightlife and all these things. Wait till you get there. How much does a room cost in Bali now? It's between $800 and $900 a month. Right? Why? Because so many young people have the same idea. And they're like, I gotta go move to Bali. It must be an amazing place, right? So you go move to Bali, what are you going to experience during the day? A lot of traffic now. And is it car traffic? Oh no, it's scooter traffic. A lot of scooters, right? So you're going to spend a lot of time in scooters now because so many young people saw a video, they said, I got to move to Bali if I want to be a digital nomad, right? So they get to Bali, and then all of a sudden they get to a cafe, they're working, and what happens? Wi-Fi goes out. He's smiling back there. So you have to realize, like, there's a reason why the lifestyle looks so glamorous, right? Like, it looks so enticing, and at the same time, like, if you cannot get a steady Wi-Fi, you're in a Zoom meeting, and you lose a client, well, guess what? Man, sucks to be in Bali, right? So yes, that's kind of what kind of the news that's covering, right? And so also we have AI travel tools to sort of automate the visa process, right? Like I know a lot of people who reach out to me, they're just like, I built a SaaS platform that helps digital nomads manage all of their travel stuff, right? Visa applications, their housing, their health insurance, their travel insurance, that does all this stuff, right? That's great, that's fantastic. Who here can afford $500, $800 extra bill in their life for that, right? Wait till AI comes around, right? Then you guys start paying for that. So the other news that I'm bringing up, and this is not something I was planning on talking about, right? Just because this kind of just happened, right? So the unrest with what's going on in the world for politics, I don't normally bring politics into this situation, but because this does affect traveling and nomads, you are starting to experience more countries that are starting to have travel restrictions for Americans. And it is happening, right? Should we be experiencing this? No. I am telling you this because you're here to learn about what's going on for Nomad World, and if you are traveling to different countries, you have to understand like what's happening, right? I don't know, it just started, right? So there are some countries that will retaliate on what's going on, and if you go to a country and your visa is terminated for whatever reason, yeah. So just be aware of this because it's something that shouldn't be going on, right? So plan everything in advance. So everyone's best travel tips, take that in mind and prepare in advance, right? So yeah. So this is what people mostly think of nomad life. People think it's all beaches and Mai Tais and laptops and sunshine and tanning and.
Hey Chris, is that lady wearing a mask?
She is wearing
At
sunglasses.
her laptop, is she wearing a mask?
She's wearing sunglasses.
Okay, look like she's wearing a mask. I was like, I thought
Oh,
you
no,
were,
no, no.
I thought I was trying to say something where like wearing
Oh,
a
no, no.
mask while work.
Yeah, that's the way she was drawn. She has like a square face.
Oh, okay.
And so, so your friends think all you do is party, right? I'm like, man, he was in Bangkok, he was in Sydney, he was over here in Perth, doing all these things. His life must be amazing. It's all Instagram photos and everything's nicely filtered. And what my family thinks of me is I'm a bum, right? I can't get a job, right? I can't settle down. And the reality is, as a nomad, all you do is work. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one that pays your bills, and you gotta get another client, right? So that's why I tell you, so many young nomads go to Bali, and they start the first thing in a website building company, and they're like, I'm gonna go build websites. Do you know how to build a website? No, but I'm gonna learn. Good. Let me know how that turns out. So, going into this whole thing, in 2026, over 40 million digital nomads work remotely while exploring over 50 countries, right? That list for digital nomad visas is growing more and more, right? Because they want that talent. They want to bring that in. Like there was a program that I had talked about when I first started this program in Sicily where you can go and teach over there and they will pay you and they will give you housing. Who's been to Sicily? How's the internet?
Well,
yeah.
that place you talked about, I remember you saying there was no internet.
Yeah. So that there's catches to all these nomad programs, right? Like you're like, man, they're gonna pay me to go here and I'm gonna live a good life, and then you find out there's no internet. For Starlink, right? But again, there's a lot of incentives out there, and a lot of people don't realize that, right? Like there's other programs where like you can go work on farms, you can go work for companies and do very like odd-end jobs, and you don't have to worry about that stuff, right? One of the most popular things that people bring up is house sitting, right? You want to go stay in Bogota? Go sit for somebody's house, right? It's listed, go over there. Hey, they're gone for a week, perfect, I'll stay for a week, right? That's it, you know? And get paid for it. Half the time you're just taking care of their dogs anyways, you know? So, geo arbitrage. Anybody done that? I know you have. You want to explain a little bit about what that is or what it's like doing it?
Yeah, the dollar goes farther. In other places, we're lucky because it's the reserve currency. Let's hope it stays that way. I know there's some rocky things happening.
Yep.
Let's see. Probably like some of the best valued places in the world are Southeast Asia. I hear that from friends. I've seen it, and also Nomad Capitalist. He's one who talks about that. He loves Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia as the best valued place in the world. And yeah, of course, nearby Latin America. Generally though, you won't find that going north. So like not Canada, not Northern Europe. Oh man, I went to Norway once. It's so expensive there. We had like the dollar menu on McDonald's.
Right.
They had the 100 krona menu.
Yeah, okay.
Which is like $20 for a McDouble. That's when I visited. That's how bad it was.
It's because it's so cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of people I know who go and get these high-end jobs, right? They're remote, and then they go find the cheapest place to live in the world, right? So they can basically extend their dollar, right? There is some tax issues you have to be aware of, right? Like that's where he talks about Nomad Capitalist, right? So if you're a follower of Nomad Capitalist, he kind of just shows you like, hey, here's the best places to deal with if you're trying to reduce your tax bills, right? Global community, right? Like, if I was to travel and I only stay in hotels, and you were to travel and you stay in local Airbnbs and things like that, whose network do you think would be bigger 6 months from now? The local, right? And that's why Americans have this idea of just like, if I'm gonna travel, it's just so expensive because I gotta pay for a hotel room and I gotta do this, and most people just keep to themselves, right? When you're a nomad, you're in the communities. Like you're talking to people, you're joining meetups, you're going and starting your own meetups, right? A lot of people will find out they're not extroverted. I have read so many articles about nomads going to a place where they've always dreamed of going, and they find out they have no idea how to talk to people, right? And they go and they become depressed because nobody's talking to them, right? So coming to Capital Factory and you walk into a meetup and you're waiting for somebody to come up to you because you're shy, what do you think is going to happen in the long run? Nothing, right? And if you don't know how to network in a room, guess what's going to happen in your business? Nothing, right? It's an important skill. Like networking is a skill, right? And if you don't know how to network a room, it's going to be like, why did I go, right? Like I might as well just stay at home and watch Family Guy, right? So here's some stats, right? Things have obviously changed over that time period, right? But this gives you a sense of just like how much it's changing, right? So I'll let you all read that real quick. So if you've ever followed Fiverr's surveys, they're really good, right? Like they put out some really good surveys about like what are people doing, what kind of work are they doing. They break things down and they see like, hey, what are most popular careers and jobs people are picking up. And if you ever want to go and see like more of that stuff, like Upwork also does their own ones as well, right? And you have a lot of remote sites as well, like remote.co, where all they post are remote jobs, right? And they also put out surveys. But MBO as well, they track a lot of this stuff. Why? Because more and more people want to work remotely. Yeah. Any questions? So now you have something that happens here, which is people work remotely, but they don't necessarily travel outside the states, right? So they'll stay within the United States boundaries, but at the same time, it's an issue of just like, well, if I go, I have to come back so much, and it's either a tax issue or it's a family issue, things like that. So sometimes they stay within a 3-state, 4-state range, right? The last one at the bottom I thought was very interesting, where they conducted a survey to see what is the economic impact of what digital nomads are doing to the world, and that's a pretty significant number, right? When you realize like, if I can work remotely, and I manage 10 different companies on my own using AI, what is my economic, effect, right? I may have like 6, 7 employees per company that I run, and they're all remote as well, right? So, Alright, it's a lot, don't be intimidated, the reality check is real, right? You have the pros and the cons, right? If you've done this before, yes, you get the pros, and you sort of start to get the cons, right? So, everyone always wants the freedom and control, right? I go to Dubai, I go to my events, I have fun, I eat good food, I work, I make some connections, that's freedom, right? And then after that, I may be there for 2 months, 3 months, and then I'm off to another place, right? The economic edge is that your network will grow faster, you will make money a lot faster, because your client base is unlimited, right? Like it's constantly growing. When you live in one city and your client base is all in one city, what happens to your income? It eventually plateaus, right? And you have more cultural immersion, right? Like you experience different things. So you start to realize that, hey, this place over here, it's a lot easier to get along with people here. Over here, it's more family oriented. Or over here, something else, right? And then this year, they're expecting more visa booms, right? Because more and more countries want to get on this stuff. Is Singapore going to do that? No. They do not plan on doing that. Which is crazy, but I understand why, right? But the cons are, if you are not an extrovert, that loneliness will hit you really hard, right? You will go out, you may be among people at a party, do all this stuff, but if you are an extrovert and you know you're an extrovert, it is very hard to talk to people, right? And I've seen that. Like people have asked me like, hey, can you help me network a room and talk to people and things like that, or who should I talk to, right? When you land in a new city all the time, you don't know anybody, right? And if you don't know how to connect with somebody real quick, that loneliness it's hard, right? The other part is, every time you move to a new place, there's a thing called switching costs, right? Gotta get a new phone system, right? Need to set up internet, gotta do utilities, gotta do all that stuff all over again, right? How can you fix that as a digital nomad? What should you already do to help reduce these kinds of problems? Anybody want to throw something out?
Plan ahead.
No. You have a travel assistant, right? Your travel assistant knows who you are. They've been working with you for a while. They know your routine. They know everything you need every time you get to a new place. Hey, in 7 months, I'm going to be going here. Start getting everything ready. Okay? So when I land, everything's waiting for me. It's all set up. It's done. I'm not dealing with that anymore, right? When you are a new nomad to this stuff, guess what you are having to learn for the first time? How do I set up utilities? How do I set up where my pharmacy is? Who do I talk to about this, right? And your travel assistant, should they be somebody that you worked with for a long time or somebody in that region? That makes a huge difference, right? If they've all been coming from the Philippines and you travel mostly in the Eastern Europe region, your assistant's gonna have a lot of trouble with that, right? Whereas your assistant in Eastern Europe knows the culture, they know the people, they know who to talk to, right? That's being efficient. The other issue is your work life starts to blur, right? Like I've been working all day, I was trying to get this client, didn't go through, now I gotta do this, it's 2 a.m., I better call it tonight, right? And then you wake up, what happens again? But you're in a tropical place. What happened to the glitz and glamour, right? And then the financial instability, right? That's the part that kills most nomads is, I don't know when I'm gonna get paid next, right? I landed this client, it didn't happen, they didn't pay me, and I never heard back from them, right? And then the homesickness, right? It's like, man, really wish I could be home for Thanksgiving. This isn't, missed the plane, stuff like that. So, any questions, right? Because this is just part of the lifestyle, right? Like this is all the intro, right? Like I'm trying to get the honeymoon phase kind of over, right? Because as this program goes on for the rest of the year, there's a lot more to it, right? So, busting the myths, right? Beach laptop equals productivity. Who here has actually worked on a beach with a laptop? Did you get sand in your laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It overheated.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the Max.
Yeah.
It's the metal.
No, I couldn't see anything. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's always funny to me when I go to the beach and I see people working on the laptop, I'm like, wow, Either your company must be paying for that laptop or something, you know. Instant communication everywhere you land. Reality, yeah, you better do your homework where that Wi-Fi is. Otherwise, if you land and all of a sudden like, you find out like, oh, sorry, Wi-Fi's out for the week, sorry, you know. Oh man, I just paid for that room for the next 2 months, you know. And it's always cheaper than staying home, right? That's geo arbitrage stuff, right? Like that's where the whole like, okay, well I can go over here, it's gonna be cheaper, right? But now I gotta set up utilities, I gotta do this, gotta get my insurance going, do all these things. Then an emergency happens. Oh man, you know, gotta call home, hey, you know, can you help me out? Yeah, right. So, any remote job is always digital nomad friendly. Anybody experienced that already? If you do, the reality is not every remote job is digital nomad friendly. Hey, by the way, we need you to be on our time. You're over there, so you need to be awake at night. Okay? Just letting you know. So, like, man, I thought I had a great job, right? So now while all your friends are out doing stuff, you're having to sleep, right? And you'll be productive everywhere. Who's productive right now, right? So if you going to the beaches of Hawaii, are you still going to be productive? No. All these people in bikinis right here. No. Right? And your digital nomad life solves all your problems. Many people think like, hey, if I just get to paradise, my life is perfect, right? That $5 steak can beat it, right? Anybody want to share their miss that they had to deal with harshly? Got to a room and it looked picture perfect in the brochure, and then all of a sudden it was something completely different. Everybody's so quiet. Yeah.
I mean, kind of going into any remote job is not digital nomad friendly. I have a job that I could easily do remotely 100%. They just made me go back because Michael Dell moment, you know. But I had that conversation with my manager, like, you know I could do this fully remotely. Could I take it somewhere else? It was like, anywhere out the US is out of the question. And it was just immediately like that. And apparently various people had tried in the past and just, it was geo-locked completely. So they had to be in the States.
Right. And yeah, and it's true. Like a lot of these jobs can be done remote, right? But it's just a power move, right, on their part. And that's why if you've ever been on YouTube and you watched the number of people who have quit those jobs and then said, you know what, I'm 43 years old, I do not need to be dealing with this anymore. I'm going to go do what I've always wanted to do, right? Like if you live with regrets and you're like, I have a manager I hate, I do not need to be here, right? It just creates stress, right? So, I'll let you read this real quick. If I had not shown the date, would anybody believe that was today?
It's very accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, when I started doing this, it wasn't really a choice, it was more like circumstances kind of pushed me out of the Philly area during COVID. And I was like a digital nomad around the US. Kind of aimless, right? Because I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking for. I'm kind of going with the vibe, and I know what I'm trying to get away from. But then over time, there started to be patterns. Once I started doing the abroad thing, that feeling kind of came back. It's like, well, this is great, and the $5 steak and all that, but what am I really looking for? But then so I went to the Nomad Capitalist Conference, and then I started to meet people. It's like, oh, this is kind of the end stage of where this can evolve to, is essentially you're using this lifestyle as a mechanism to facilitate you setting up redundant homes or lives in other places that you will have redundancy. So for example, like I just opened up my first couple credit cards in Panama, separate from my American FICO and all that stuff. So it's like, that's kind of where you're going with that. But yeah, when you're looking at this, think of it as like a mechanism that you can then use to build something else that you might not have even thought of yet in your life.
Yeah. So again, this was way before AI, right? Like, but again, it still applies to AI right now, right? Like we have all these tools, we have all this technology, right? Do you know how many 15-year-olds that I watch on YouTube who build companies like it's nothing? right? Like they sit down with Purcell and they just go in and they build like an app real quick. Why are they doing that? And this is besides getting views, by the way.
Get paid.
No, they're not trying to get paid. They need to show that they can do it, right? Like it's called build in public for a reason, right? Like if I go in and my page of videos is nothing but making apps and SaaS and websites and all these different things, I don't care how many I built, right? Like somebody's gonna reach out to me and say what? Hey, can we hire you, right? Hey, I like your stuff, like it helped me solve the problem I was dealing with. Like, can we hire you to work on our next project, right? You don't know who's gonna watch your stuff that's gonna change your life. And that's why I tell people to do social media. Do people listen to me? No, right? But they'll watch social media, right? They'll give them the money, right? But that 15-year-old is building their audience, right? So when they grow up and they're 19 years old or 20 years old, they have a massive audience, guess what they're not ever gonna do in their life? They're never gonna apply for a 9-to-5, right? Because they have an audience, right? And they have the tech skills that they've been practicing that whole time in their room to build whatever they want, right? And with AI, to build an app, how long does it take now?
Like a couple minutes.
Maybe one prompt.
Yeah. Like there's literally programs now that are, it's like a wrapper over a wrapper, that's text to app now, right? Have you ever used Claude Code to basically copy another app? Like, hey, look at this app, I like what it does, change the colors, put this name, do this, and find 5 new features I can add to it, let me know when you're done. Right? So the types of lifestyles that people are not aware of, right? There's the full-time nomads, right? They travel, it's just their backpack, they're always on the move, right? It's either slow mad or fast moving, right? Part-time nomads. They will keep a home base, right? They'll go out for 6 months, come back in, they'll kind of recuperate, and then they go back out again, right? Expats and settlers, right? They're traveling, but they're looking for their place that it fits who they are, right? And there's a lot of expat communities around the world, right? And you'll meet those people because you're just like, yes, I used to live here, I miss it, but this is my home now, right? The solo travelers, right? This has become a new movement of, hey, I'm a solopreneur, I'm a solo traveler, I make content, I make websites, or I build apps or whatever, or I work remotely for a company, but I'm always on the move, right? And then group travel. I'm sure a lot of people here have seen group travel programs, right? What is the most famous group travel program that's been around for a long time?
Nomad cruise?
No. Longer.
Couch surfing?
No. Longer.
Studying abroad.
Longer. Nat Geo. Right? Like National Geographic has been put on like group travels for a long time. Right?
Really?
And they have like what? Some of their groups are like 400 or 500 people, right?
Damn.
I couldn't handle that. That's too many people, right? That's a massive group, right? But yeah, they put on a lot of different travel groups, right? But there are now niche travel groups out there, right? Like there's women-only travel groups, right? Like there's men 50 and over travel groups, right? And they go and they select the program, they set the itinerary, and then they go out, right? Traveling as a family, right? Who has watched families as sort of digital nomads on YouTube, right? There's a family that has a sailboat on YouTube, and they travel on a sailboat around the world, right? Do their kids like fish? No, they're tired of fish, right? But that's their life, right? Like they go around the world, and their kids are very internationally educated because they land in different places, and they go around showing them what the world is like, right? And then seasonal travel. Some people just want to travel during the summer when it's nice and easy. You don't have to deal with any cold stuff, right? That's another big thing, right? There was a movie, I think it's called Chasing Summer, and I think this movie came out like 1967 or 1968, and the story is about 3 surfers, right, that follow the summer around the world, right? And I was like, this is a cool movie. Like, how did they shoot this movie first off, right? Because I think it's like 1967, cameras were not easy to shoot. Like, those were big cameras, and to shoot where they were shooting, I don't know how anyways, I looked into the history of the movie. Turns out, all those surfers in the movies had to pay their own airfare to be in the movie, and they had to pay their own hotel, But what do you think happened to their life after that movie came out? Oh, they became celebrities, right? Because that was something that had never really been thought about before, because they were just chasing endless summer, right? And so they were following the summer seasonal wave around the world, and they would go surf in some of the most beautiful places around, right? It was a great movie. I loved watching it, but yeah, there's the people who only travel during certain seasons, right? So I do meet people who are disabled, and they say, I can't travel because I'm disabled. And there's a whole system for disabled people and travel, right? Like pets, all that kind of stuff. You just have to find it, because it's been there for a long time, right? And then of course, always sign up for anything that will help you get past checkpoints and airports, right? Clear and
Yeah.
pre-check?
Yeah, that's cool, for security and going in, but global entry has saved myself, many times. Like, coming back from Asia to LAX, you will wait in line for 3 hours with everybody else, but if you got global entry, you skirt right through with the pilots.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, not an exaggeration, yeah.
It's true. Like you land, and all of a sudden, like that line to get through, you're just like, shit, I should have gone that
Yeah.
global one thing and just been done with it, right?
Yeah, so global entry includes pre-check, and then once you're in, it's just a quick renewal online every 5 years, and a lot of credit cards will pay for it if you don't have it yet, so
Yeah.
it's a good investment to get that started.
Yeah. So again, if you haven't done that and you do plan to do this kind of lifestyle, at least go get that taken care of, right? Is it easy to set up an appointment?
Apparently not these days, it's better than during COVID,
Yeah.
but like, my friend literally just renewed his, right, he had it like 2 days later, and the mail was really fast, but yeah, so the activation energy is quite high, but once you're in, it'll pay dividends.
Yeah. I had a friend who they needed to get it done, and the closest one was on the Laredo border. So they had to go all the way down there to go do their interview. And then they get there, and it's confusing as hell as to where exactly to park and where to go. Because it was like right at the border, and it was like, I can't cross the border.
Well, you could.
You could. Okay, so I want to cover this part right here, because again, this is something that people kind of like, don't really understand, because it is very different, right? You have Slow Mad Lifestyle. Are you here for Nomad?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on in. There should be a sign-in sheet right there. Yeah, sign in. So again, Slow Mad are for people who want to cover certain regions for a long period of time, right? That reduces your costs tremendously, versus I'm moving at a fast-paced life, right? It's one of those things where, like, if you want to enjoy and enrich and get immersed in culture, Slow Mad is the way to do it, right? If you want to keep your costs low. If you are an Instagram influencer and you're making a ton of money, man, you have to be in the fast-moving lane. Otherwise, like, you have no content to post, right? I'm on a plane, I just did my pre-check, I'm getting my drink, my peanut bag is huge, and I'm ready for a 5-hour flight off to the next place, right? When you're Slow Mad, I went to my favorite cafe and I got some work to do today, and I think I'll go to a meetup later on, right? And you'll probably do that for the next 6 to 8 months or something, right? And you'll cover a region of the world for probably a period of 2 to 3 years, just doing that, right? And if you have a really good support remote team to help you with all that, it's a very smooth transition, right? Now the fast-paced life, it's different, right? Like, you're always either meeting clients, you're having meetings, you're doing something different, but it is something that I've met a lot of people who do that, right? Any question? So, what does that roadmap look like for Slow Mad, right? One, you need to figure out, can you actually do this? I tell a lot of people, most people don't realize how big Texas is. It's a massive state, right? And most people have not been to what? We're at like 1,000 towns in Texas or something like that. There's a lot of places to go to, right? Test yourself, see if you can actually handle this lifestyle. Go find a little place, take a 1-day trip, and say, hey, can I go to a new place, build a company, get 3 clients, and actually do this lifestyle, right? We have enough places to visit. Go to McKinney Falls, right? Go to Enchanted Rock. There's no internet, but it's fine. And see if you can actually do this. right? That will test you to see like, can I actually achieve this, right? Because if you cannot do that, what makes you think flying to Bali is gonna solve anything? Any questions?
How do you find clients?
That's a great question. Before I say that, who would like to answer that question?
What was the question?
How do I find clients for my business as a nomad?
Okay, so there are a number of ways to find the clients. If you're going for the technology side,
Okay.
so you can start with Upwork,
Okay.
Fiverr. This is basic stuff.
Okay.
And if you're moving towards a little bit forward, then you can go with services, database services you can launch.
Okay.
And so it's the ads like Google Ads, if you place Facebook, everything else under your target niche.
Okay.
And you can find out much client you go, but it depends on your ROAS you are converting, margin you are converting, cost per,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it depends on like, but yeah, remotely you can find out, one is the main client, this you are the one facing and giving the information, the front end.
Sure.
Other term, then you have a project manager who is, managing your project with the other teams,
Right.
members. So this is,
Okay.
my experience.
So, did everybody get that? If I want to find clients, right, before AI, I can run Google Ads, right? And I can target Google Ads to my client, right? And it has a sales funnel, right? What is the new method now with AI in getting clients? You want to try again?
Yeah, so, for the AI, right? So for the AI wise, you can do with the automation type of stuff, as my experience what I'm programming. Let's say, for example, if you're doing, let's say, for example, sales
Okay.
on the realtor or anything.
Mhm.
So you can do automation stuff. So let's say people you are like before the chat support people, now they have a chat bot.
Yep.
Before we have a call to summary, now we have multiple AI agents which you can use. You can easily able to create using NTN or number of ways. So,
That's right, yeah.
So this is how you can
Okay.
wake up.
All right, so I'm going to challenge you now. So if I have a website building company and I want clients, where should I be looking?
People that are like GoDaddy, I don't know.
Local businesses, local business owners.
How do I find those local businesses? Do I go to the Yellow Pages?
No, you literally just go to Google Maps or something.
Did you hear that? Why would I go to Google Maps?
Find local stuff.
No. What does Google Maps tell me?
Tells you a little bit of the general gist of each business.
Okay.
You can also,
Even
you
narrow
can
down.
also find the company, and then Google Apps has like the website component.
Exactly,
or
yeah.
something, So if
Yeah.
you don't have.
And
So
you
what are
can
you
filter
looking
it.
for in that Google profile? Do they have a?
Do they have a website?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Do you
Or
think
how
this?
could-
Do you think we just discovered gold right now? No. People have been doing this for a long time, right? And now that AI is here, that's been automated, right? They're going through and looking at every city, and they're going through every business profile and seeing who does not have their website address filtered. And then they're reaching out to the company and saying, hey, do you need a website?
Or maybe the
Right.
website's trash and they haven't updated it since the 2000s or something.
Right. Who probably has some of the worst websites out there? You'd be surprised what that answer is. Anybody want to take a guess?
Home services.
Home services, who else? I actually recently dealt with this problem because I could not believe I was dealing with this problem to begin with.
Local government agencies.
No. We already know that.
I don't know if this is where you're going, but banks have a pretty bad UI.
Right, but they are hard to sell.
Right.
They are very hard to sell because they have a lot of regulatory issues, right? So who else?
Restaurants?
Yes, but another one is engineering firms.
Mm.
I can't tell you how awful their websites are.
Wow.
It is so crazy how many engineering firms sites I've seen where even the contact form is this name, phone number, email, and the box is like limited to 160 characters. Who can speak in 160 characters? Right? It's crazy, right? But going to Google Maps and looking at every company and seeing, hey, do you have your website address filtered? Then that's a start, right? That's a way to build clients, right? Now, if I'm a service-based company, right, it might be a little different. I might have to go do a lot of numbering, right?
I just imagine one more thing is to find out what client on the Google map. If you're, for example, if there's a barber, you have a CRM for client management. So you have a barber solution. So there are millions of barber every time. So you can start with the Google Maps. You can find a multiple API which extract all the user data.
Yep.
Let's say you can use MP5, anything you can use. Website is a little bit older as my experience,
Sure. Yeah.
because you can be on now a basic file, but Canva can easily multiple or some similar apps.
Mhm.
So if you have only more solutions, which you can easily able to create by yourself,
Yep.
and you can save a lot. People right now who are not familiar with like how the thing work, but if you are good smart, not too much deep depth and all that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Just a basic information.
Yeah.
So you can make millions of clients,
Right.
not 1,000, I'm talking about millions of clients.
Oh, yeah?
Because let's say, for example, how much they are selling, let's say QuickBook. QuickBooks is charging $32 per month,
Sure.
but this is requirement for every business need.
Yeah.
Multiply by how many thousand business you have. So this is a small, long run.
So, does that help everybody? Like, there's multiple ways of getting clients, right? But, again, Google Maps is like a gold mine for like starting that kind of stuff, right? Like, I would always say, like, if you're more like product-based building, Google Maps is where you start, right? So the next stage right here is, now you gotta figure out what parts of my life do I need to get rid of, right? How many times have you gone home and you have all this stuff everywhere, right? Your life as a nomad is what? It's you, your backpack, and maybe a bag. Right, that's it. It's not all those things that you carried with you from high school. It's not all the stuff that you had of family albums and all, everything like that, right? And that's why some people get storage units. Yeah. So and then building up an emergency fund. So for some people that's really hard, right? But it's necessary, you know. And then again, now AI is here, you can go through and build out the entire checklist. Hey, what do I not need in my life? Here's everything that I have, right? Do you need to carry all that stuff through pre-check? Absolutely not, right? So the next stage right there is launch first base, right? Pick a practical starter hub that has a massive digital nomad community to help you, right? Who here has gone to Tokyo and met some of the nomad hubs there, right? And you see like who's working on what. You'd be surprised how many people are running website building companies, right? And then try it, right? Again, try Texas, go find a place you've never been to, go find a cafe, go work out of there. Because it's no different from you going to Starbucks down the street and trying to get a client. It's just a different location, right? And then check, hey, what is the grocery cost? What is the Wi-Fi situation? What is utility costs? All those kinds of things, right? And then test it out and see like, could I actually do this? Right? Some people will find out they have certain habits that are like, I gotta watch soccer on Sundays. Can't miss that game, right?
Real.
So, and if you can do that and you can land a client in a new location, right? Maybe you're ready for this. So, we'll skip that right there. All right, so fast mover, what does their life look like, right? So now you need to do a stress test for your income. This comes down to basically numbers, right? If I was to drop you in New York City, could you get yourself into a high impact room? How fast could you do that? Because remember, your life is about fast moving, right? So it's not like, I'm gonna go to a cafe, order a latte, sit down, think about my day. No. You got things to do. Who here thinks you could do that in New York City? Who here thinks you could do that in Austin? What would be your strategy? You can pick either one.
The fast mover or the slow mover?
No, fast mover, right? Like your life is, you have to stress test your income to see, can I survive this, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna land in a city, I need to get into high impact rooms that are gonna be clients that I need. How are you gonna find those rooms?
I mean, I would just hang out around tech hubs, like I would,
Okay.
like you would
But
just.
how long are you gonna do that before you get into a room that has what you're looking for?
How long would I think I would make it, like,
Yeah,
I would say a week. let's
okay.
say.
Is a week enough for most people in the fast moving life? Or is it too long?
I would venture to guess too long.
It might be too long, right? Like, if you know that rent is due every first, right? And you took a week to get into a high impact room, okay? That's already, what, a quarter of your time taken up, right? So now you know, if I do get into a room, what do I gotta do? I gotta close 2 deals. I haven't even met the person yet, right? It's a little different, right? So again, going and seeing like, can I go to a city I don't know, land there, get into important rooms right away, meet the people who can make deals, do that kind of stuff, right? So here's what I do, right? I have almost every list of every event for every major city, right? I get a list every week from New York City of what rooms to be in. I have the list for San Francisco, for Chicago, for Miami, for London, Dubai, all that stuff. Why do I have that? Because if I land in a city, I know exactly where to be, right? I'm not wasting my time. I'm not playing tourist. I know what rooms I need to go to that are important and what people to talk to, right? Who was not thinking that? Okay. That's fascinating.
When you say rooms, you mean like tech conferences, like you don't mean like.
Anybody can go to a
business
tech
rooms.
conference, right? Anybody
Right.
can search up a tech conference, right? But if I wanna go to a room here in Austin that is not a tech conference, right? That has, let's say, I'm looking for VCs,
Mhm.
right? Do they exactly announce where they're gonna be?
Yeah, right, like where do you find it if it's not public?
Right. That's what you're looking for,
Okay.
right? So if I land in San Francisco, how many AI events happen in San Francisco a week? Just take a guess.
Dozens.
It's more than 70,
Yeah.
right? Why? Why is that?
There's thousands of AI companies in San Francisco.
Right. Who else do you think is in that room? VCs. They need to see what their people are building. They need to see what's happening, right? You think that's not happening here? Every time I go to an event, because I've been doing this for so long, I know who the investors are in the room, right? Because I'm friends with them, right? Because I know what they're looking for, right? Are they gonna tell people, hey, I'm an investor, I have a lot of money? Absolutely not, right? Because you wouldn't stop bothering them, right?
Find the list of events, let's say for example San Francisco, so what's the source of looking at the video?
I have a lot of sources, right? Like I have like 5 or 6. One is a newsletter. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I mean, like I can show it to you later.
Yeah.
But I get it every Sunday night, and it just lists everything. So it lists all the VC events, it lists all the AI events, it lists all the like the networking events.
City-wise?
For the city, yes. So it covers San Francisco, Oakland, and then down further. But then it has the unlisted private events as well. So
Yeah, thank you.
So for stage 2, right, you want to sort of figure out like, hey, how do I create a buffer, right? That's what you want to start figuring out is like, you don't want to be in a situation where like, man, I have to hustle today, I have to get a client, right? So you want to start figuring out like, okay, what do I need to do to make that happen? So a lot of the fast-paced moving people, they have a online presence, right? They do social media, right? So why are they doing social media? What did I say earlier?
Just get the word out.
Okay. What does that bring back to you?
Build the following.
Okay.
Of people that automatically watch it and stuff.
Right. You don't know who's watching you, that's going to change your life, right? There was a LinkedIn post the other day that somebody posted, and this is why I harp on social media so much, where their client was trying to meet VCs, right? Which is the worst thing you can do. Like, don't ever like just approach a VC and be like, hey, I have a great idea, let's have a meeting, right? So she could not get anybody to pay attention to anything. So she just started to build in public, and she started to post her journey and all this stuff, right? So 6 months later, she got a $2 million check, right? Because she was posting on social media. And the person who wrote her check was one of the VCs that turned her down. Why? They don't know what you're doing. They have no idea what you're doing. I don't care how amazing your pitch deck is, right? If I see that you're going out and you have 10 new clients because you put on this big event, and I saw it on YouTube, who do you think you're gonna invest in? 'Cause I know what you're doing. I don't care how amazing your pitch deck is, right? If I see that you're going out and you have 10 new clients because you put on this big event, and I saw it on YouTube, who do you think you're gonna invest in? 'Cause I know what you're doing. I don't care how amazing your pitch deck is, right? If I see that you're going out and you have 10 new clients because you put on this big event, and I saw it on YouTube, who do you think you're gonna invest in? right? That shows me traction, that shows me growth, that shows me users, right? If I go in and show you a pitch deck and I say, hey, I will have 10 new users next week, okay, so do you have them, right? That's why you do social media, right? Any questions? Because this life right here, this is the part that people think is digital nomad, right? Because they're just like, it's glitz, it's glamour, I'm on another plane, I'm landing in Dubai, I'm going to London, I have a party to go to, all this stuff. It's a lot of switching costs, right? So any questions? Now's your time.
I have a question.
Yes.
So like, for people that offer a service like developing, it's pretty self-explanatory that you
Okay.
can just build stuff. What if your skill set's like you're in charge of product, like you're a product manager,
All right.
or you're a project manager?
Mhm.
Are the videos and the content a hypothetical, here's how I would have built this project? Because at the end of the day, you need somebody to execute, you know.
So,
Like what-
so the question becomes, do you want to work for a bigger company? Do you want a bigger paycheck in the end? Or do you want to switch to a new job? Or do you actually want to be your own product developer consultant?
Yeah, I would say in this scenario, it's like, how can a product manager work as a remote employee, if they want to focus on getting their name out there?
So what I've seen product managers do on social media is they will go and review other products. And they will show, hey, this is why this product is terrible, and let me show you the 5 reasons why, right? Hey, this product right here, I just ordered it, I opened the bag, look what happened, right?
Yeah.
That shows expertise, right? That shows awareness, and you don't know who's watching you that's gonna offer you a job,
Mhm.
right? Like, hey, we had that same problem, can we hire you for 3 months on a contract to come fix this, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, right? Because you're showing that you know your stuff, right? If I apply for an interview and I work for, and I say, hey, I wanna work for your company, it's a lot harder. Why? Because that's why they do, 5, 6 interviews now? But if I have all these YouTube videos that I posted and I show all my expertise, what do you think happens to that interview process? It disappears. Why? Because they already see you know your stuff. Right? They don't need an interview. So the last stage right there is trying to figure out, can you do 3 cities and see what your return is in 30 days, right? Because you can't just land in a city and be like, I'm gonna play tourist, right? Like, you gotta make money. Like, the world is I always say, think of the world as your business office, right? And if you think of it like your business office, then every city becomes, oh, Dallas is finance, if I need finance stuff done, I'm gonna go to Dallas, right? If I need to work with energy people, where do I go in Texas for that? Yeah, I go to Houston, right? If I wanna deal with tech people, I'm already in Austin. If I wanna do nothing with my life, I go to San Antonio. Okay? So, I'm from San Antonio. So,
And what's in Dallas?
Dallas is finance and banking.
Y'all Street.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Right, if I need to go catch fish, I go to Corpus, right? The point is, you need to know how the world is divided, right? That's why there's videos on YouTube that show you what are the major cities and what do they do, right? Like, what is Hong Kong known for, right? What is Singapore known for, right?
International business.
That's right, international business and finance, right, and banking, right? If you know these things, right, everything in the world now just becomes, where do I need to be to hang out with people that are gonna be my clients, right? Is it easy to get to this? No. Yes.
I'm just curious to hear your perspective on it. As someone, I'm not very technical when it comes to coding and when it comes to building, for example, a website or an app. What would you recommend for finding someone to buy in with you that's not something like a Fiverr and Upwork, to find someone that like you can generally sell your idea to, I guess?
You mean you need a technical person?
Pretty much.
I mean, you're kinda in the space already, right? Like, you're at Capital Factory, like, you go to events and you find those people, it's gonna be very hard to convince them to join your idea,
Yeah.
right? In the meantime, if a 15-year-old can build apps with no coding background whatsoever, I would definitely say learn how to use Vercel, right? Like, learn how to use Claude Code. And we're getting to a point where in 6 months now, you will just talk to AI and it's just there.
Yeah.
Right?
I started with Claude,
Right.
but it was just not yielding the results that I wanted.
And that's okay, right, because we, in even 2 years, we're gonna be to a point where building apps is nothing, right? It is literally just, can you pay the bill to build the app now, right? Is AI going to be expensive? Yes, it is, right? Yes.
Oh, what kind of like AI workflow do you use?
You mean like Make,
Or
stuff like that?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I teach from Make, I teach from Zapier, right? Like that's the more popular stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, the ironic thing about that is like when I tell people go do your automation training, how many people do you think actually complete their training? Not very many. Everybody's hyped about automation, man, they love it, it's so cool, I just wanna say it all day long, right? How many people are actually trained in that stuff? Right, because I give them the stuff, it's free. You can get certified, you can do all this stuff, it's free. But so many people have so many excuses that they're like, I was busy, I had to pick up the kids, you're single, what are you talking about, you know? It's crazy the excuses I get. I had 20 people who I told, go do your Make training over Christmas. 2 got to the last section, right? But they still did not finish. Everything is glitz and glamour around automation, right? But it is not an easy, yes.
You know how many books the average person reads a year?
2?
Less than 1. So when you said about the finishing, that was like,
Yeah,
the average person reads less than one book a year, means that the average person doesn't even finish 1 book.
Yeah.
Right? So when you break it down into pages, right? Like there's what, let's say 200 pages an average book.
Yep.
That means you can read 1 page every other day and you finish a book.
yeah.
But people don't break things down that way.
No, yeah.
But when you're talking about that, it's like, yeah, you break down your training and you say, hey, it's a 10-hour certification. How many days or weeks do you have to finish it? Okay, that's like 5 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day or whatever it is. Breaking it into chunks is a huge part of, having success in something like that, because otherwise it's daunting, right?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
to say you're
It
gonna
is.
finish a whole certification or something.
Yeah, and even saying it's free still is not enough, right? Yes.
I'm just curious, this kinda goes a little bit off
Sure.
of it, but would you still recommend starting with a website and then transitioning into apps, because I know it's a lot simpler?
Yeah, I mean, like, we have AI tools now that build websites in like 2 minutes, right? Like, if you're trying to do that, that's different versus like, I wanna actually learn WordPress, right? It's whatever route you're trying to get to. Like, if you just wanna be like, hey, I built 4-page websites for people, do that, right? Like, if you're trying to build like a website, like a Microsoft site, that's a lot of stuff you're gonna have to learn, right? Yes.
So coming up with the AI and this recommendation, what I do is work with the 3 to 4 different AI at the same time.
Mhm.
So let's say if we are building with app, for example, so we have number of apps. Rather than write out the whole prompt, we can use Grok, for example. Grok 4.1 is a bit smarter with as compared to ChatGPT or even the Gemini.
Right.
So we can ask the whole idea to the Grok and ask him to technical to give me the prompt.
Yeah.
Then same prompt will give it to the, let's say if you're creating an app, any app, let's say on Flutter.
Right.
So we can give to the build with is a good one, or maybe several out there. So let's say we give the whole prompt to this one, and 80% of the task they will perform
Yeah.
the build with, let's say. If you're facing any technical issues, just on the console you can click the error log, give to the Grok.
Yeah.
For the graphic wise, let's say if you're connecting with the API, you can use this Zapier API or something that you're talking about. So building with different AIs, let's say one from there, just copy pasting in reality. And you can create an every single thing if you want right now.
Of course, yeah.
And if you're working with different, and every version have to be paid version.
Yeah.
Let's say it's $30 cost, $40, $3 to $4.
Yeah.
So, but you can create a lot of apps, a lot of websites, a lot of CRMs, a lot of solutions, and can easily able to market them.
Yeah.
And one more thing regarding how to sell them is, let's say, now the AI is in the Google ads, Facebook ads, Snapchat, everybody have the AI now. So the build with, you can, let's say, for example, for the Google, you can use the Performa Max.
Sure, yeah.
And you can do the more into itself AI, which self-learn, find out the target people, show them your ads with their old activity. Then I mean, the things.
Yeah.
So this would be the more easy making the things.
course.
And then one more, how to find the people he's saying, because I'm running the software company, so that's you can find out very easily from the other country, let's say from Bangladesh, India, this one.
Yeah.
And you can find out from their social media platform, their groups. Every solution hub, you can find out many people, and which is 5x cheaper than if you are, let's say, I'm just talking about how to build it.
Sure.
Yeah, this is my experience.
Sure. He's looking more for like in-person kind of
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
That's
No,
okay.
I appreciate that, and I did look into it and everything, but I do like the having the person with me and like us building the
In-person
idea
would be
like
very
that.
expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah,
Software
of course,
is-
yeah, of course. I'm talking
You
like,
have funding, and maybe you need 2 to 4 people.
Yeah.
For any single thing right now nowadays.
So the one thing I do want to point out, what he said was, everything that you're gonna do with that, so you have to pay, like, you have to have a paid account, right? And most people are probably not aware of like what's happening with the AI market right now. But there's a massive memory chip shortage right now in the world. If you have not read that article, go read that situation. It is very crazy what's happening, right? I thought we were not gonna be dealing with this for another couple of months, but like, Sam Altman has already announced like price hikes are coming soon, right? And he's given people enough time to be like, hey, get ready, because we are gonna be upping this price, right? It's probably gonna be a lot sooner. And it's probably not gonna be what he thought it was gonna be. Because he was expecting $50 a month for the $20 package. And I think the $200 is gonna go to like $500 or $600 a month. So why do I bring this up? Because AI is a wealth divider, right? Like if you cannot afford AI, guess what happens? You cannot use it, right? So if you come from a background that cannot afford a $600 model for one AI tool, right, to build your stuff, guess what you're gonna have to do? So that's, and he's using several. Like he's mentioning, like you want to build with several different ones to see what they're doing, right? That's a lot of money you're gonna be paying for.
I'm just adding one
Yeah.
thing. My argument is, for example, that in future maybe the AI will be expensive, but you have other models as well. For example, let's say a small chatbot my team was working. So they were OpenAI chatbot they're too much expensive nowadays. You're using 521, 520 or before you can expensive. Same time, you don't need a lot of thinking of the AI. You can use, let's say, DeepSeek for the basic task perform. And this is 5x cheaper than
Of course.
than the OpenAI.
Yeah.
The issue is we need to think about how much we can find out alternative, because the open source community is still working.
Of course.
Very much. So yeah.
So to go on that note, how many AI models hit the market every week? Yeah, exactly, right? Why don't we use them? Why don't we know about them, right? Can anybody answer that?
they're not as established.
No, we have no idea what their names are, but there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we use them?
Everybody have his own focus area of working.
We don't know about
Maybe.
What?
We don't know about them.
Why don't you know about them? It's all, you go to Hugging Face, you can look at them, right? It's all there, right? Nobody's stopping you from looking at this stuff, and they're all free, right?
Switching
What-
costs.
The switching costs, right? But why does everybody keep going back to OpenAI, right? Well, why? Right? Like we have models that are way better than that. Why don't we use them?
Infrastructure.
Because ChatGPT was come first.
If I go to Hugging Face and I want to use an AI model, what do I need? Really? I need hardware. I can't just plug in and be like, yep, I'm gonna use it, right? You need hardware to install it and set it up and do all that stuff. If you don't have that, guess what? You can't use it. OpenAI knows that. That's why everybody uses ChatGPT, right? They've made it so easy to use that it's a marketing thing. But there are tons of models out there that are free, and they're way better than ChatGPT, right? You just don't know about it because who's hanging out on Hugging Face every day? Nobody. Who goes to GitHub and be like, I'm gonna go find a new AI model to play with? Nobody. Because I like my ChatGPT. Okay. Any comments? All right.
How many models on the GitHub?
Oh yeah, I mean like, so to answer the other question, it's over 100,000 models hit the market every week, right? Nobody's sitting down and going through all those, and nobody's gonna sit down and even try or test any of those stuff, right? And that's why we now have AI models that test AI models for you, right? So, yeah. Anyways, common jobs that most digital nomads pick up right? We'll kind of run through this, pretty briefly, but entry level, which is most people that are young, right? Like simple admin stuff, like virtual assistant, customer rep, data entry. You'd be surprised how many online teaching programs digital nomads start off with, right? I can go sign up, go teach English for kids around the world, get a simple paycheck, it pays the bills, right? There's a lot of programs like that. And many digital nomads enjoy doing that stuff, right? Because they will sign up with a school, they will be somewhere around the world, that school will bring them 40 kids, and those 40 kids, they'll have like a Zoom virtual lesson, and they'll do their stuff, they get paid, they do another class, right? That's pretty easy work, and that's why a lot of digital nomads enjoy it, right? Freelance powerhouses, right? Like you're upping your skill sets now, right? So you're going into graphics design, copywriting, social media manager. Social media manager is a job that will always be in high demand, right? Because if you're doing social media and you realize what social media really is, how hard is it to do social media? It's hard, right? Who here knows how many posts you should post on Snapchat a day for traction?
Like
On
50?
Snapchat. What's the number? This is what social media agencies require of their influencers that sign with them. Who here is matching that number?
For 30 to 40?
They're nowhere near the number.
Because people are doing, the social media pages are doing.
Yep.
They're doing all the reels that for the Snapchat talking about, all the emails.
I'm just talking about Snapchat, I'm not talking about anything else yet.
Ah.
Right, like, remember, we're not on TikTok yet, we're just Snapchat. How many do I need to post a day on Snapchat? Just to get noticed?
100?
There you go.
Okay.
Who's near that number a day? Okay, thank you, right? So if you sign with an agency, that's the minimum they require out of you, right? What do you think the TikTok number is? A day?
500.
500 videos?
That's why social media manager is a job that pays very well, right? And it is in high demand because, yeah, they have to do a lot of work, right? So if you want to do that, go find the influencer agencies in Austin and be like, hey, I do video editing, when can I start? Oh, yes, they will hire you, right? So again, video editor, UCG. What is UCG? We're not doing social media, are we? User-generated content, right? Like that's a massive industry in itself. Did you know there's a whole market of just teenage boys that play video games and get paid a ton of money to play video games? Why?
People need content.
What kind of content?
For their own video game?
No,
For AI?
no. How many times have you watched a video and it's just some background of some video game playing, right? There's some logo over it or some
Yeah.
quote on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some kid was paid a lot of money for that video clip, right? That's what they're doing, right? And it's user-generated content, right? So they're going in and just screen recording them playing a video game and just doing whatever, and they're going in and clipping all of it, right? And they're saying, hey, you get 50 clips, it's $2,000, right? There you go. Yeah. So now let's move into the upper echelons, right? The high skill and high pay, right? So website development, go into front end, WordPress. Surprisingly enough, I meet so many people who just don't know how to do WordPress, which is so crazy to me, right? Like I learned that so long ago, right? Is it fun? No. No, it is not, right? It is hard to learn, probably, right? But at the same time, right, like SEO specialist, what is the new form of SEO now?
AI SEO?
That's right, right? Is it easy to do? No. You need a lot of content to start showing up in ChatGPT, right? Digital marketing, right? Knowing how to create funnels, analytics, ads, all these things. And now the high demand is AI ads. We want you to show up in ChatGPT, right? If you can master that, oh, there are a lot of people that are hiring you right now, right? And you can go travel the world and you can make a nice living on just doing that, right? So, any questions?
Name of that is like GEO, right?
I think it's SEM. I think it's SEM. Yeah, but if it is, yes.
I thought it was GEO, kind of like SEO for websites, but like to,
You
but
mean
for,
generative? You mean generative?
yeah.
Yeah.
So then GEO inside of like ChatGPT, you're trying to like, if you're trying to rank for like inside
Right.
ChatGPT for like certain prompts, I think that's GEO.
Okay.
For.
Yeah, I've seen so many terms right now, I'm kinda like.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if there's a one-all catch-all
Yeah.
one kind of yet, but I know
I
GEO.
go to different agencies and I'm like, what is your SEO process for this? Well, they call something incomplete. I'm like, okay, sure, you know. So,
When's your solopreneur class?
that's next Monday. Yes, so.
From the Google, from the SEO perspective, right now we are losing the traffic on the.
Yes.
Based on the ChatGPT, or it's such a Google AI is involved?
So we're losing traffic because everybody just goes to ChatGPT for everything, right? So like, how do I get clicks if AI is not picking up my stuff, right? So again, how much information does AI need to show up in results? Does anybody know? A large amount, right? Like if your website has 4 pages and it's very minimally like written, like is it gonna show up in ChatGPT results? No, right? I can give it my website. Does that mean that the guy in Norway is gonna be able to find my website still? No, right? It needs a lot of information for it to train on, right?
What's different with the AI, especially when the Google search, Google prompt, the Google search you can write, before they were the snippet they were doing, now they provide AI stuff. Over 10% to 15% traffic will drop, with the different websites.
Right.
So, ChatGPT itself, the people are not aware with still now is my experience.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
are searching for the daily perspective, but Google SEO is still there. Even though they are now increasing in multiple other aspects.
Right.
Like regional websites are more powerful rather than people who target with the old one.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I know digital agencies are still struggling with like how to do that, cause they get a lot of clients that are just like, hey, we just gave you $5,000 a month and we're still not showing up in ChatGPT, and all they can say like, we're trying, right, like we're trying, right, because again, their models are proprietary, they don't share anything with how they're actually working, so it's a little harder, whereas like if you go to Llama, right, like you can see what the model's doing, and you can play with it and practice with it, right, so if I use Llama, and I run a local website, I can see what Llama is doing to my website, right? And I can see if it's even touching it, right? So, yes, but most solopreneurs, so this one right here is different. This is people who work for themselves, right? Like this is the category for jobs that most people take on. So copywriting agencies, social media management, newsletter consulting, Notion system architect. That is a huge moneymaker. Right, like if you are certified in Notion and you are trained in that stuff, you can make a lot of money because people love Notion. And Airtable, right? Like Airtable and Notion, all that stuff, they're just all giddy over spreadsheets. Right? So, and AI workflow designer. So that's, micro SaaS builders, right? It's if I can build a little mini SaaS product for you that can either fit on your laptop or your phone that you can share with other people, that's a huge moneymaker as well. Any questions on that?
just try with the latest one, and model.
Yes. Very much fun. So going back to the automation thing, right, like there's a lot of people here in Austin who are building automation agencies, right? And they're going out and trying to basically virtually knock on doors and say, hey, we can build automation workflows for you. Any problems with that? It's the same issue with website builders, right?
There's a lot of people doing it.
There's a lot of people doing it, right? And you know how many people I meet who are just like, we only target lawyers. I'm like, great, I'm sure lawyers love you. Because they get all kinds of requests every single day. Yes?
So kind of to that, like, a lot of these things, like an AI workflow designer, for example, like there's no moat, right? But I guess in software where I work, like you can get a certificate in AWS, let's say. But now that's like a saturated department. What would be the way to establish credibility, like hardware-wise? Sounds like the way to do it is just to like video yourself doing it, like on YouTube. But is there another, like more professional accreditation?
That is professional. I mean, like that's very professional because
sure.
like I can land a massive job doing that, right? Like Nick Servino or something like that. He makes 6 figures I would probably say a week doing what he does for automation,
Mhm.
right? And you have to remember, like, he just sits down and shows you these massive workflows that automate very complex systems. The number of client outreach he gets is insane, right? Because you're looking at like, hey, our company is dealing with that very same issue. So how does he find those workflows? Any idea?
I imagine he uses AI.
But what does he tell AI?
Well, a scenario, a particular scenario of, like, I would think it would be like a chicken and egg. Like, I am a mid-size B2B SaaS firm and I have this problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is a standard workflow for a digital ad agency in Austin, Texas? Can you tell me?
I don't know.
But you know how to find out, right?
Yeah.
What would I say?
You just look it up on Gemini or something.
Okay. Right, but what would you tell AI? Like this
I would
this,
provide as much specific context as I could.
Okay.
And then I would tell it to look for sources that are as official, I think,
Okay.
as you can, yeah.
So the idea is like he's going in and analyzing how companies run. He's looking at their operations, right? And he's basically building off of that. Like, hey, I'm gonna look at like an aerospace building company, right? I'm gonna find what their standard workflow operations are, and I'm gonna build an automated workflow for that. I'm gonna go make a video about that workflow, and what do you think's gonna happen?
They'll reach out.
Who?
Or a company like that would
Right.
reach out, yeah.
Am I expecting a lot of views on that video?
Not necessarily for.
I don't want a lot of views on that video. Why? Because I look for a very specific audience, right? Like if I get 1,000 views, but I have a 10% return on that video, is that a good day?
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's the part people forget about social media is that numbers have distorted our concept of how things work, right? That video got 1 million views. Yay, whoopee, right? But they're not looking for 1 million customers. They're looking for a 10% ROI, right? So if my video gets 100 views and I'm looking for 10%, is that a good day? Most people would love 10 paying customers.
Target audience.
Right.
Different target.
Yeah. Always remember, social media has distorted our concept of views, right? If I post a video and my target audience is very, very niche, and I get 20 paying clients who have meetings and they want to work with me, I don't care if that video never makes any more views, right?
Who's the guy you mentioned that does this?
Nick Servino or Servano or something like that. If you look at Nick Servano or something like that, make automations, it is crazy the stuff he builds in his channel, right? Like it is incredible the workflows he builds out. But yes, he makes a lot of money doing that. Now, if he was to never do that, and let's say he just knocks on doors saying, I build automation workflows, would he be making the same amount of money?
No, because the reach, if you do a video, and you get that many paying customers by doing that one bit, like think about the outreach that would require, right? Like that outreach would be significant and it would be less impactful because that's attraction-based selling versus going out and selling. You have to sell someone like, and you're gonna confuse them in most cases, things like that. Whereas like in that scenario, you see exactly what you get, which leads to a much higher conversion because they know, like, and trust you already based on the interaction.
That's right. Like I might have a conversation with you at a party, right? And you might be telling me about a problem you're having. Hey, you know what? I have a video I posted about that. Why don't you go watch it and check it out? Let's have a meeting next week. That's a lot more impactful for relationship building versus me knocking on your door like, I build workflow automations. Are you interested?
It's also a pre-sell, right? Because you're by them seeing it, you're already pre-selling them on what the meeting's gonna be like.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because now the meeting is like, hey, you did this in your workflow right there. Like that's the problem we're running into. We didn't think about doing that, right? That's why YouTubers make so much money, and yet you don't realize like how many like if I have 50,000 subscribers and I know how to monetize my channel really well, what do you think I can be making a month? 6 figures, right? But most people think I need millions of followers to make money on YouTube. What is the number you need to monetize on YouTube? Come on, it's been around for long. No. They're not interested in subscribers.
Or view, total lifetime views or
No.
hours or something like that.
What does a 15-year-old do to monetize right away?
Ads.
No.
Longer than 10 minutes or something?
No.
You need like 1,000 before you can monetize, right?
So you don't need a number of views.
You need a set number of
separate
views,
every
right?
week, right?
But to turn on monetization, you need 100,000, okay?
Yeah.
You need 100,000, and then now you can go into the settings feature, and now you can turn on monetization, right? So what do they do to do that?
Bots.
No. They go find what's trending, and they go make a whole bunch of videos to trend those videos, so they can hit that number. And then what do they do those videos? They delete it, right? Because now they can post on their channel the stuff they really want to talk about and really want to do, and now they can monetize, right? If I get to 10,000 subscribers, but I'm amazing at monetizing, I can hit 6 figures, right? Because an ROI of 10% of 10,000 is what? Right? And if you have a really good monetization model for your business, yeah, you're making good money, right?
See, normal the painter or other people they're also making social media videos and they have
Absolutely.
a lot of customers.
Yes.
The same you told about the automation.
Yes.
The painter also, the car detailer, everyone is now.
Who has seen the guy who cuts grasses at houses that are empty?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, right? Who would have ever thought that a guy who cuts grass makes millions of dollars on YouTube, cutting grass? What is his business model? Can anybody at least tell me that? Because remember, this is what it means to be a digital nomad. You have to think creatively to find work, right? What is his business model?
Cuts the grass for free, and unless, as long as you let him record it, and that's really it.
And he doesn't care about that part, right? What is the whole process? How did he come up with the idea? You had the first, you had the second part correct.
People reach out to them.
No.
People like to watch that
How they earn the
satisfying.
money or how this particular YouTube earn the money?
No.
Or the business or something like that.
He took a camera, he set it up on a corner, and he time-lapsed it. Why was that so hard? He time-lapses videos. Why? Are you gonna watch a 2-hour video of a guy cutting grass? No, you're not.
Right.
But you're gonna watch a time-lapse video of a guy cutting grass and making the yard look pretty for a house that nobody lives in, right? And he does that on purpose, right? Because he knows you're busy, and he knows that you would rather watch a time-lapse of him doing something cool, but he's just cutting grass, people. But he makes millions of dollars cutting grass, right? And I meet young guys who are like, I built SaaS, I went to school, I have a degree in computer science. Cool, he cuts grass. So, if there's anything you take away tonight, what is it? Do social media. And I don't care what process it is. I know people who literally cook and they don't say a single word in their video, and they make millions of dollars just cooking stuff, right? So the part right here for self-employed is, again, creative stuff, content creators, because again, there is really no limit to this stuff, right? I know artists who basically put a camera over their desk and they time-lapse them drawing stuff, right? So how digital nomads use AI work, right? Like remote planning out things, writing posts, emails, things like that, meetings, setting up stuff, transcribing. Also like for data, right? Like you can use Perplexity to go scrape a whole bunch of data, take it, package it, sell it, make some money, right? And then you have business AI, which is basically creating content, marketing, sales, selling products. Everyone here can sell courses, right? But who does that, right? Nobody's stopping you from selling a course. This is something that's always interested me. How do I get 1,000 followers on YouTube and make no videos? I make no content. How do I get followers?
Go first straight go YouTube subscriber farm.
No.
Comments?
What?
Comment?
No. I mean, you could. That's a lot of comments. Do you have time for that? Okay. How do I do that?
Can you pay someone?
You can pay someone, yes. You can go find a nice little, bot farm to go in.
So it's at that bot farm.
Yeah, but that's a, do you wanna do that?
I did already.
Okay.
For number of
Okay.
someone more, of course.
Do you trade subscriptions? Like, I subscribe to you, you subscribe to me?
You could do that, that's a lot of trading, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to go to the mall all the time and get people to trade and like, hey, follow me, I'll follow you, right?
So you can get $2 for 1,000 subscribers.
Okay, alright, what else?
Make a viral video.
You could make a viral video, you might as well go win the lottery. So, what amazes me is people really don't understand YouTube, right? You can go make your channel extremely valuable just by creating playlists, right? I can go into a YouTube channel and I can go find, let's say I do automations, right? I don't know how to make a video. I don't know how to use CapCut, I'm stupid, right? But I can go in and find the best workflow videos on YouTube and throw that into a playlist, right? And people will go and subscribe to my channel, why?
They wanna see you update your playlist.
They wanna see some high quality content. I provide a lot of value, right? I can create a playlist on how to automate your social media, and I will go find 100 videos that show you how to do that, right? And I will subscribe to your channel. Did I make a single video doing that? No, I didn't. So, going back to what he said and what he said, how do I maximize that?
AI,
No.
make multiple channels and then keep
Your
making
subscribers.
You're close, but it's what you said and what you said that actually now matter in this part, right? What?
Bots?
You're close.
Agents?
You're close. I hire a high school kid to go do that for me now. And I pay them $10 or Chick-fil-A. And I say, I need you to make 20 new playlists today. Go curate all these videos and put it together and let me know when you're done. Do they need to be next to me when they do that? No. They log into my account, they create the playlist, they put everything together, they're done, they get their Chick-fil-A.
A similar thing, what we did before, the videos, movies, clips, 10-minute, 20-minute videos,
Yeah.
but before 8 years ago, there was no strike kind of.
Yeah.
They were there, but not that much.
Right.
Just uploading all the videos, you know,
Yeah.
then you have subscribers. But now if you have people, copyright and all that stuff.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Alright, so again, travel AI, right, like we have all kinds of stuff now, we have AI agents that handle our travel for us, right? And again, you can go in there, like if I wanna go in and build out a playlist of just travel agents and how to build that, I can do that, right? And then I can also go into my paid account for ChatGPT and be like, I'm just gonna screen record Claude building out an agent for me, right? And watch what it does. You know how many people have done that already and gotten millions of views? So, why do people fear this lifestyle? Because the biggest thing is, are you gonna fail? Like if you go to another country and all of a sudden like your business doesn't take off and nobody's buying your website building services, and all of a sudden like you're like, shit, this is hard, right? That's why a lot of people get scared about this, right? So, this class I enjoy teaching a lot more, right? The solopreneur class fills up a lot faster because guess what you get to do? You get to go home, right? This is a sink or swim lifestyle, right? If you're really good at what you do, you get to do it again tomorrow, right? And the benefit is there's no limit to your income. There's no limit to how many social media channels you can run. There's no limit to any of that, right? If I run 7 different YouTube channels and they all cover different things, guess what? I have 7 different ways of making money. I can have a YouTube channel for website building stuff. I can have one for SaaS building, one for agents, anything, right? So the real deal is basically gotta have a good plan for your income, right? Make sure you have good health and travel insurance, and go to networking events, right? Like go find where the stuff is. That's why I subscribe to a lot of these lists. Make sure you have good gear, right? Like have a laptop, have extra storage, and then always have a target goal of like, where do I need to be, right? If you build out that schedule, you will start to see your income go up, you'll see your network go up. Who here has seen the video, How Wealthy Travel People how wealthy people travel. Who here has seen the video how billionaires use AI? What are we doing at home? My gosh. Right? What do you think a billionaire is doing with AI versus somebody who's like, I just need a job? Right? It's very different. I'll tell you that, right? So again, that's how you can kind of start to look at things, right? And once you start to have those kinds of stuff going on, you start to realize like, okay, this is how my routine should start to be. So, going back to typical remote working life. Does that make sense? Pretty much, right? I know what my office mates are like. I know what they're into, right? My coworker, my remote workers, I have no idea who they actually are, right? It could be a guy for all I know. Right? So again, there's a video called How to Afford Travel When You're Broke. And this person has made a great YouTube video, and so many people have commented on it, and basically it is very true. Like, you do not need a lot of money to travel, right? And I know this because these guys right here, please go home and watch them, okay? It is called the Free World Trip series, and it's probably the best thing you're gonna watch on YouTube. It's about two young guys who wanted to know, can we travel the world for no money? And I would guarantee you, it is very, very insightful, right? He put a lot of work into this channel, and it took off, right? They made a documentary about it, and he got to work and partner with Yes Theory, and so they're good friends now, and it is truly an amazing, amazing series to watch, right? Because it will tell you, like, if you're young, go travel, like, don't sit in a classroom, right? Like, college will always be there, right? But when you are 19 years old, your body can handle that hike at Machu Picchu versus when you're 50 years old. Right? Like, you're going to be able to do a lot more because, yes, college will always be there. Yeah. But those relationships, those networks that you're building, Matthew will tell you, like, he's been around all over. You can't buy that stuff in the classroom. Yeah.
You just buy debt.
Yep.
And then you miss Bitcoin.
Yes.
True story.
But anyways, how can we work together? So what I do is basically the same thing that I kind of covered here, right? Like, I show you AI work cases, right? Like, I show you all these different things because I've learned many people use AI, it's just not what you think AI is really capable of doing, right? If you go back to the fact that over 100,000 AI models hit the market every week, that tells you a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff, right? And remember, that's just a very small number, right? That's a tiny, tiny number compared to what's going on out there. If you watch the YouTube videos or like just search like building SaaS with Claude Code, watch what people are doing, right? It's incredible what people are building. And it's a one-person team. I showed Manus in my other class back in March when it came out. You know, I was part of one of the invite users. Who got to use Manus in the early days? Anybody here? It was free. Manus was free, and it was amazing. Like, I loved it so much, right? Who knows anything about what happened to Manus recently? So, for context, Manus came out in March of last year. Meta purchased them 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago for $2 billion. They were 7 months old. Their whole team became billionaires, right? Why? Because they monetized immediately. That's why I had to stop using Manus, because it was $600 a month. I was the first user to get to use it for free, and it was incredible, right? It's going to be associated now and worked in with Meta AI, which is probably the worst AI model out there. I don't know what's going to happen to Manus, right? But Manus was incredible at what it can do, right? But yeah, I demoed it in my class. I showed it a lot of times how to build SaaS with it, how to build products with it. It's phenomenal, right? But to go from free to $600 a month, what does that tell you about AI, right? Like, it is very much a wealth divider, right? If you do not have the money, you cannot play the game, right? So, if you have any questions, things like that, that's my QR code. We got like 5 minutes or so, or like maybe 6 minutes, and then y'all have time to network and things like that, right? I always bring books, right? Because I want to show y'all like the stuff that I've read. So all these I've read already. Yes. So again, this is Click. If you've never read this, this is just basically how to get people to see what you're doing, right? Like how to pay attention to what you're doing. Who knows Ryan Serhant? Yes. You've seen him or you know him?
I don't know him.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
met him.
Okay. What is he known for?
Real estate.
Real estate where?
In New York City.
That's right. So he's sold billions of dollars worth of real estate in New York City. Who is this guy? Right? Frederick Eklund. He too has sold billions of dollars worth of real estate in New York City. So why do I show these books? Because these guys are high sellers. They know how to sell stuff, right? And so reading their stories and why they are able to do that, it's pretty incredible. Here's the other one, selling online. I can't tell you how many times I meet people who, yes, I sell stuff online, it's all the time, right? There's so many tools in here that can help you sell, it's incredible, right? If there's one skill you can also learn is how to use Shopify, right? So, but yes, you can come up later, take pictures if you want, all that stuff. So, and I will be running an AI mastermind group, right? So if you're interested in that, that is just a form to fill out. It's basically a builder course for like AI use case studies, but it's also like going in and seeing like, what is this company doing? How do we build what they're doing, right? So let's say I take a look at a business. I'm gonna look at, let's say, a car mechanic shop. Hey, what can we build SaaS-wise that they might need, right? And we will build that in the class, so we can learn and practice, right? All right. Yeah, my feedback form. You will also get this later on if you don't want to scan right now. I know I'm kind of rushing through things just because we're short on time, but and then we can meet outside if you want to talk more. But yeah, that's my connect for LinkedIn, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it. And if you want to come to my next one, which is next Monday, 6 p.m., 16/4. So, and if you need validation, it's right here. If you parked in the hotel, if you parked on the street, it's free. So yeah. And yes, any questions? Nope. All right. Thanks so much for coming. Yes, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
How long have you been around?
Couple months now. That's the matter was to launch.
Yeah. MVP start everything.
Yeah. Sure. Hey, so it's taking a long time.
I'll be around.
Is it just you?
No, I have two other people who are working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, my co-founder,
How was your New Year's?
good, yes. Co-founder and I, we've been friends for like 9 years. So, high school.
How about your engineering?
I've been in I've been in a couple of companies now.
Nice. And you've been working on
So my co-founder?
Yeah, I'm
Go with your
gonna
co-founder.
Oh yeah, so we ordered the schematics on it, so that's the fact that we didn't really build it out like for it now.
When I do my research, it's like, yeah, I just have
We've gone through many iterations of it. Just using the methodology for AI stuff as well. We kind of been talking about it a bunch of different times.
At that point, it's
But the current most recent version of the app doesn't matter.
You
Yeah, so with AI, so it's consumer app we've been doing, so I designed everything myself from scratch. So I think that's the basic thing you can do. And then having it basically clock start building something.
AI to find other tools that are even better. You may find something on high school that was just like, oh shit, I can do that just to
Yeah.
Since I don't have
Yeah. What's your idea? What's your app?
It's around plants and greenery. So kind of big picture idea would be it's a good way for like low
and then they can
government
handle
agencies and
emails, they
like
can do
just like the
intake,
city
they
wants
can
to bring
report
something
for you,
to
check on
where they have
things.
trees, where they have like.
And when they said that they use their own
It's a
code,
lot easier,
they could
but in
build
the
that.
day to day,
Yeah.
all the
Like,
other
can
things
we
we
find
just
out
have
the
for
plan
anybody.
code?
So if you wanna have a
And
plan,
when they said how
it takes,
long it
like,
took to
it's,
build it
that's
with
why I wanna
that
ask you,
code,
because it's a
is
very
even
all
crazy.
encompassing
It took
solution. That's what it would be like, it gives you what you buy, how much maintenance you
Yeah.
do, and
So,
so like,
if
do
you
a
have
buy
cloud
on
code,
it,
go play with cowork,
it's kinda like
it's pretty incredible.
everything you need to.
So if you think
have
they
a-
check
have like a
and they're
flat
seeing
line,
that you're
because I heard
there,
so many
is that what-
videos.
is that what-
Yeah,
I
so
don't
check
think
out
it's
cowork,
possible.
like go watch some
If
videos,
they
like
would
it's
check
pretty incredible.
This kind of.
But yes, these are the things that people are like always looking at. I like
So that's the
working
idea,
solopreneur.
But I noticed that.
as I said,
Yeah.
like, never built it up and we can.
Yeah, that was in the software.
Are you trying back out?
Yeah, it takes a while to get over the learning
I'm
curve,
gonna try to make
especially
it.
if you're like just getting through a lot of stuff. 'Cause I'm technically not really a technical person either. I mean, I have some like technical experience in some things, but like,
They'll have food, they'll have
my
drinks, all
co-founder
this
does
amazing.
he builds
And
himself,
it's
yeah,
always
yeah,
usually like
he's pretty wicked.
That's all, yep, right. I wanna see this thing awesome.
Wait,
There are
is
cameras.
it for members?
You go there?
Oh, it's
You
free.
going in there?
It's open to everybody. Right, so.
Damn, are you working?
Tomorrow night.
What, tomorrow?
Yeah, 5:30.
Can I come around? Can I talk?
Cool.
Hey, give me one sec.
Well, because it's starting table, so.
It was nice
Okay.
meeting you.
Yeah, please go ahead. Nice meeting you.
See you around. I'll come out more.
Okay.
Hey.
I'm good, how are you?
That's the thing, it's like,
Thank you so much for your
now,
input.
it's no longer.
So you want me to-
So you're doing-
I just said, residency, that's.
What was your name?
Mike, $500,000 to. person.
here, let's go out there real quick.
Like,
I'm taking you, I'm not from.
$3,500 to invest in property.
Oh, wow.
But you don't have any such
I think
property.
it-
You don't have
No, it was just the Italians gonna fast track me, just, here you go.
Oh.
That's why I did that, I was like, I saw the writing on the wall, and I was like, I need to lock this in before they end it.
Are you gonna end it?
They could at some point, yeah, they could revisit, I mean, it's an old tree from 1966, and the world's just getting harder now. You know, and things are getting more expensive, and especially anytime there's any geopolitical moves, Trump, you know, everybody.
Alright, I just got a thing for you real quick.
Yeah.
So you visited the back Dubai?
What's that?
You visited Dubai a lot?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
how you feel?
I go over there just because I have friends over there, just